You're about to learn how to start becoming a better version of yourself. Becoming the best version of yourself starts with a pyramid. So think about this pyramid as the base of it being your identity, okay, which we're going to start with first, and then there's other layers on top of it. Trust me, when you start to realize all of these layers and the importance of each and becoming a better version of yourself, you start to see all the opportunities that are there for you. Because a lot of people get stuck on thinking about becoming a better version of themselves, but they don't know where to start. So by the end of this video, you're gonna have several places that you can start. They're very simple and easy to understand, and taking action, all it requires is for you to put a little bit of focus, energy, and attention into becoming a better version of yourself on a daily basis, making this a habit, a daily habit of self-transformation, improving your self-concept. So let's get into it. Now, at the base of this pyramid is identity. Who are you? Now, when you think about who you are, right, your set of characteristics, values, right? So when we define ourselves often like, oh, this person's aggressive, this person's a go-getter, okay? You might even mention some of the values they have. You know, they value friendship, they value hard work, whatever it is, right? So at the core, if you want to become a better version of yourself, you first want to start with your identity, which is the most powerful area to start, because when you start to analyze who you have been lately, right, in the past, and who you want to become in the future, you'll start to realize that who you want to become and who you've been are two separate people with a gap in between. And that gap is where we're going to reflect. We're going to get curious about it. How do we get curious? Well, we think about the characteristics and values of our future self, of our better self, and what those values, characteristics are, right? And then we think about the values and characteristics we've exhibited in the past. And then what we do is we start to see the gap. When we recognize the gap, let's say it's values. Okay, well, if the values that you need are not values you've had, they start becoming your values, right? So if you need to value discipline and staying focused, okay, well then each and every day you create the evidence to support that you do in fact have that value. And each and every day that you move towards having that value, you are moving towards transforming to becoming a better version of yourself. So all that means is embodying and living by that value. I'm gonna live by discipline. What would that look like? It's as simple as going and making your bed first thing in the morning. It's as simple as going to the gym today because you go to the gym every 3 times a week. So just go today then. Be consistent. Whatever values that you need to exhibit those. Let's also talk about characteristics. There are certain characteristics that you have that have held you back. There are certain characteristics you need to propel you forward. Identify the ones that have held you back and act on those characteristics less. If aggression has held you back, be less aggressive. If inconsistency has held you back, try to be more consistent, right? And then think about the characteristics you need. I need to be more outgoing. Okay, do things that outgoing people do more often. I also need to be focused. All right, do 3 things today that can help you stay focused. And they don't have to be big things. What it is it's not, this is where people get messed up. It's not making one big, huge change, right? Where all of a sudden, boom, your life is different. You wake up next day, everything's changed. That doesn't happen. Here's the way it works. It's the opposite. It is a ton of little changes, okay? Those little changes over time are what's gonna move the needle in the right direction. They're gonna raise you up. They're gonna help you become a better version of yourself. That's identity. Next, imagine a pyramid. So we're stacking on top of identity. What comes next? Next on that stack is beliefs. What are your beliefs? Beliefs about love, beliefs about money, health, anything. The universe, the world, you wanna really identify your beliefs because your beliefs feed all the actions you take, all the narratives you have. So beliefs are huge. Now, think about the beliefs that have held you back and the beliefs that you need in order to propel you forward. Once again, same concept. Now, let's talk money. When it comes to money, there are a lot of people that believe, hey, the rich get rich, the rich stay rich, the rich get rich and the rich get richer, something like that, right? That could be one. Another one could be money's hard to come by. Another one could be, you got to grow into wealth or you got to marry wealth, right? Whatever that belief is, we tend to act in alignment with that belief, right? So if your belief is, in order for me to be, in order to become wealthy, you need to marry wealth, well, then if you're not married, you're going to act unconsciously in ways that keep your income down because your belief is that you will only be wealthy when someone else from the outside comes in. Someone from the outside comes in. You will be in a poverty mindset. You will not be in the abundance mindset of your future self. So identify the beliefs that are holding you back when it comes to love, money, relationships, health, whatever they are, the universe. Identify those, right, of your past self, and be curious and be kind to yourself as you do this project. Don't beat yourself up. That doesn't serve us. We are being curious. We're shining a light on things. We're just getting to know ourselves better. Then identify the beliefs that you need to have or want to have in order to move from here to here, which is also known as transformation. Yes, this is how you start becoming a better version of yourself, is you start moving each and every day in that direction, right? And it's thinking about how many small steps can I take in one day, not can I take one big step today. I'm not saying you can't take big steps. However, frequency often trumps the size of the mistake, or the size of the action, right? The size of the momentum. So we're looking for daily frequency on a very daily basis, as opposed to one big, boom, I took this huge risk, but don't be afraid to do it. All right, so that's beliefs. So we're thinking about the beliefs we want to create. How do you form beliefs? Well, you start thinking, feeling, and acting in alignment with those beliefs. You write them down, you put them somewhere where you can be reminded of them, whether it's a refrigerator. I like every now and then having reminders on my phone. I'll say, hey, what belief is guiding you right now? Simple question, right? What belief is guiding the way that I'm interpreting how my day is going, right? So beliefs, easy. Now, we've got that pyramid, we've got identity, we've got beliefs. On top of beliefs comes self-talk or narrative, the stories and conversations you have with yourself. Now, this is powerful because there is a very tight relationship between beliefs and the narrative, right? Because your beliefs help support and create the narrative. And what's nice is if you want to know and check in with yourself on where your beliefs are at, the narrative is always a guide as to what your foundational belief is. So if I say something like, geez, man, you're going to have to work some extra hours if you want to get that house. Okay, well, that might be a narrative I say, and you might say, oh, that's simple. That's logical. Yeah, you work more hours, you get the house. But my belief system might be, you can't get rich. You can't get the money you want unless you work hard. It takes hard work to make money, right? And then you start to say, wait a minute, does it really take hard work? Is that why I've been in construction? Is that why I'm in roofing? Is that why I'm sweating and perspiring and getting sunburns every day and coming home exhausted and going to bed at 7 p.m. because hard work is how you make money? Well, maybe it's true, for you in the old self. The future self, I know with me, it was like, no, you got to be smart and do things that people aren't willing to do. And you got to be creative to make money, but you don't have to work hard. You don't have to work hard. You have to work smart, because if you work hard, what if you work hard at doing the same thing? What if you work hard at your relationship, but yet you don't change? If you work hard at something, but you have not become a better version of yourself, if you've not even started becoming a better version of yourself, then you're just going to work hard doing the same thing over and over. And then you're going to get frustrated. You're going to have this emotional charge attached to it. And that's going to be even worse, right? Because you're like, wow, I've worked harder and harder and harder and nothing has changed. And people don't realize that hard work or working hard at something is usually spinning your wheels. It's working smarter or working differently. Becoming a better or different version of yourself is the action you want to take. So self-talk. Manage the narratives you've had in the past that have held you back. Start becoming very aware of them. Improve your self-awareness. Become very mindful of them. Think about the person you want to become. What things did they say? The type of person you want to become, what do they say about money? What kind of conversations do they have themselves on that daily basis? Do they say, hey, I've got this. I'm going to push through adversity no matter what happens. Nothing can stop me. All right. That's what they might say. Well, what are you saying? Right. And what you start to realize, there's often a gap there. Once again, what is that gap? That is the gap between your old self and your future self, and you just work on closing the gap. You close the gap by the frequency of the actions you take, the frequency of you observing your thoughts, observing your feelings, observing especially the self-talk and narratives, and saying, wait a minute, is that true? And that's another thing you can do that's super powerful. Ask yourself, fact or fiction? Is the narrative I'm telling myself really based on the truth, or is it a lie? And is this narrative that I'm talking about right now based on my past self or my future self? And how can I change it? All right. So that's one of the more powerful ways to go as well. So you've got identity, belief, self-talk, or you can call it narrative. And then on top of that, what I like to call, and everyone calls it something different, but I like to call it either choice or action. Either way, they're very closely related, choice and action. Let's call it action, right? What actions have you been taking, right? That's what creates your old self. And what actions do you need to take in order to become your future self? And what's interesting is you get to, this is easy because you know the things you're doing, you know? I made myself an espresso martini last night before I went to bed. So I know that my future self wants to lose a little bit of weight, but my old self is like, well, you know, I'd rather choose to have this drink and enjoy the flavor of this chocolatey whatever. I'd rather enjoy that than taking actions and making choices that get me to here. Well, I take ownership of that because that keeps the power within me. And then what I do is I say, hey, today I have a choice. Go to the gym or don't go to the gym. Okay, well, if I don't go to the gym, that's my old self. If I do, it's my future self. So what action do I want to take? And then what you start to realize is each small action you take builds upon the other. If you go to the gym, you're more likely to eat healthy, and also the reverse. If you eat healthy in the morning, you might be more likely to go to the gym. And then if you cook something healthy in the morning and then you went to the gym, you're less likely to have that drink at night, right? So what happens is you start to go down one path and you keep going and going and going in the right direction typically. So those are the tips. Share your favorite tip below. Take action. If you need help on this, we've got programs available to help you out. My name is Dr. Jay Kavanaugh of thevibemindset.com. Check out this next video.